Julie, since we are now in Leh, the most beautiful place in the world, I think it is beautiful because we have come from all the way from the islands of the gods to the mountains of the gods. And we would like to thank you, Venerable Bhante, for having us here. And this is actually a promise that we made for the last video, our last video recording in Bali, that we would have our next video also in Leh. So here we are. So for this topic, although the weather now is getting cooler because it was hot this afternoon, now it's getting cooler, we're going to talk about burning issues. So the burning issues of the world today. So I guess the first topic that we would like to discuss is about the act of terrorism, because that has been happening in the past few months, happening in Europe, such as in England, and also actually happened in Indonesia also. So I would like to ask later both of you about what is your view on this, especially now about the act of terrorism. Maybe we should start first with Venerable Bhante.
Yes, thank you very much. We are also very much delighted that Swamiji, along with his wonderful devotees, have come to Ladakh and spent some time attending the Mahakaruna programs. We feel very happy. And also the topic for our discussions you have raised is truly very, very important and urgent. Talking about the terrorism, it is certainly misguided, misguided. How it's misguided, in the center of Buddhist teachings is ignorance. Out of ignorance, they have been misguided or misinterpreted the teachings of different religions or different nationalities.
Yes. So it's out of ignorance.
Yeah, for sure. And now when the terrorism is certainly a serious problem, people do think of finding a solution to this problem. But I think the solution people are talking is again, I say, in the wrong direction.
Wrong direction.
Yes.
Because there are many conferences and seminars talking about how to cope with this terrorism. But okay, we agree on the solutions, but then actually when it becomes on practical,
two groups of people are talking solution.
Yeah.
One is, of course, as you mentioned, thinkers, scholars, concerned about the world. They are having conference, seminar, a lot of good things.
Yes.
Of course, they talk about. But the other group, the terrorists themselves, or you can say the political leaders of a different nation.
Yes, I agree.
They try to, let's say, they try to stop war with war. They try to overcome hatred with stronger hatred. This is certainly not solution.
Yes.
This will only increase, isn't it? It is adding fuel to the fire.
Yes.
So Buddha said, hatred can never be appeased by hatred.
Yes.
Hatred can be appeased by love alone.
Love alone.
Yeah. And darkness can never be dispelled by darkness. Darkness can be dispelled by light alone. Fire cannot be extinguished with fire.
Yes.
Fire can be extinguished with the opposite quality, water.
Yes.
So here when the political leaders especially, when they talk about this, some people out of ignorance committed the mistakes through hatred or ill will. And the response they try to do is with stronger hatred, stronger hatred, and with stronger military, stronger weapons of destructions, guns and bombs. That is certainly not the solution. You know, we have to handle with unconditional love, isn't it? Love, compassion, and lies in the center is education, peace education.
Yes.
Yeah, that is missing. So those who have gone astray from the right path, those who have been misguided, they need right peace education. You know, education which they make them understand, make them realize that we are not enemy to each other. We are not strangers to each other, whether you are American or European, Asian, whether you are Buddhist, Muslim, Christian. Essentially, we are same. This the name America, Europe, Asia, Buddhist, Muslims is a relative truth. The ultimate truth, the real thing is that we are same. This has to be understood. This has to be educated. No, this is what missing.
So their solution is that we have to face all this thing with unconditional love. And how about you, Swami?
Yeah, I agree with what Venerable Bhante has said, that the core thing is education. It's a long-term project, starting with very tender minds, like what Bhante is doing in the school here in Leh. From the very childhood, small childhood, early childhood, the children are taught to respect other religions and other faiths. And this is also what we are doing in Bali. So basically we are doing this as a long-term project.
Yes.
What really bothers me is a short-term project, and this involves the youth who have already strayed away from the path, who are misguided already, and the mind is so conditioned. I give you an example, Bhante. We were having a program on a national TV in Indonesia some time back, almost immediately after the Bali bombing and all that. So we had a series of the whole two seasons, 26 episodes on the Parliament's TV, which was very difficult to get a slot, but we got it. And we were discussing many of these burning issues, including environment and many other things. And we invited those people who say they are misguided and they, in inverted commas, they are quote unquote, they are radicals and all that. We invited them. We wanted to hear from them. What is the problem, you know? And we invited them very humbly. We requested them. I think 3 of them we invited. None of them would come. None of them. So they don't want to have a dialogue. They just close themselves. And those who came, they are moderates. So they are already talking our language. But those people who are not talking our language, they are not interested to even open a dialogue. And when we have something like what you rightly said, peace education, not only for children, but for youth, for instance.
Yeah, sorry, but then both of you are actually talking about education, which is very important, peace education. But again, that takes a long time, right? So how do you face it practically if the situation is happening now?
This is my whole problem, my whole issue is, this is what is not clear to me as yet. How to deal with youth, especially youth, who are 26, 27, 28, and you may not be surprised, you must be knowing that there are scientists, there are well-educated people, master degree holder, who are terrorists, who are the think tank of this terrorist group. So how to deal with this? Some time back we were having a meeting also in Indonesia about this, and even the professors who were there, they said, we really don't know how to deal with this phenomena, that there are so many professors in the science department, physics, doctors, who have such a mind, radical mind. And this is all over Asia. I think When in the meeting, last meeting,
Yeah.
we are having professors and academicians from all over Asia, and they were saying that our own friends, how to deal with this, Bhante? Really don't see.
I think, as you mentioned, they are highly educated and having PhD on science and other things. But as far as the reality, where, or you can say that, as far as the concern, from where the true happiness, true peace, brotherhood comes, I think they are not educated. They have been wrongly educated by their religious leader. That this is the way, our religion is better than others, our country, our culture, and all these things. And they have been educated that way. Now, these people have to have another teacher to explain this. This is not. This is not. We all have to live together. We every human beings born on this earth have an equal right to live. No one can say that only my country, my religious people should live and others not. Yeah. And if we say somebody says the others will also say the same thing.
Yeah.
Because every human beings have an equal right to live. This is, I think, but what we are talking is truly very serious issue. Not easy to find a solution. Yes, because already so many people have been wounded. So many people have been killed. Though love is the real ultimate solution, but that someone have killed all my family members. Now, it is not easy for me to show a love to these people who have killed. But the fact, the truth is that my family is already gone. If I don't show this love, maybe the family members of another person also will go. But if I realize that, well, my family is gone, I cannot bring back, they have done out of ignorance, and let me show response to this horrible act with love. Perhaps these people may understand. If they understand, then perhaps some family member or some other family member will be saved. It is a hard job. It requires a tremendous love, compassion, like Buddha did, like Jesus Christ. When Jesus Christ was crucified, hanged, the last word was that, please do not punish these people. Forgive them. They are doing out of ignorance. And Buddha also said the same thing,
He was poisoned.
Similar things. And then this is how they were able to really transform the mindset of the people. So we are not, in the world, we are not talking much about this. Yes, there are a group of people, religious like us, you and me and others, but these powerful leaders who are ruling this world, they don't have these things. Now, each country is trying to have stronger military and stronger bombs and guns, and as a result, that the neighboring countries, even those who do not have enough food for the people, enough school, hospital for the people, spending 30%, 40% of the national funds budget for defense improvements. So this is not the solution. This is a kind of Bhasmasura dance and preparing kind of global society. These world leaders have to understand this.
So basically, we cannot really rely on governments, isn't it, like that? But the people itself. So you were mentioning about brotherhood. So if what I'm trying to get, what both of you are saying, is the power of the humanity, power of love that is actually being, what do you call it? It should be coming out from the people itself, isn't it? Because they shouldn't have any agendas because they should try to save their own families. So the only way to save their own families is just to get together with the bond of brotherhood, I guess.
Yes, I think each one of us who are seriously concerned about this crisis should continue to do what we can, despite of many obstacles, difficulties, and sometimes political leaders, they know very well. Unfortunately, for political reason, they cannot be truthful. They are always concerned for their maintaining their power and position, and the politicians, very hard for politicians to be truthful, honest. But for us who are committed to, or we are committed our whole life for the peace, we should continue to educate people, masses. And this is, though it is hard, this is the only way. Dialogue, discussion with tremendous love, even strong hatred, full of hatred. They don't want to listen. Still, we should continue with hope, determination, with tremendous love, compassion. We should continue. And there is always possibility. In recent time, Gandhiji was there. No one can believe that Gandhiji can succeed to win the freedom of such a big nation through non-violence. He did it. And there are several other instances.
Mandela.
So, remembering those people, taking inspiration from those people, we should continue our humble work, our service. And in our own cases also, you mean also have gone through difficulties, but continuing, so overcoming and able to continue.
So
we should
never
continue.
giving up.
No, never give
Never
up.
give up.
Until our last breath. Anyway, we are going to die one day.
That's true.
If you die working for peace, for justice, this way, anyway, you have to die.
I think, part of this kind of discussion is also part of education, and we put it, we put it on the YouTube, maybe hundreds, thousands, whatever, whoever
Maybe millions.
millions watches this, and if they are inspired, even one single person, if he is inspired and he can bring some change, we are blessed that we had this discussion. And very interesting that the other day I was visiting the office, Solan's office, and he showed me a quotation. And one of the lines was, "Don't ever give up."
Don't ever give up.
Don't ever give up. So that's a good.
And those who work for peace, the hurdle, how difficult.
Yes, difficulties are there.
Anyway,
you still go on. You still, there's a beautiful song of Rabindranath Tagore, Ekla Chalo Re. Even if nobody accompanies you, walk alone. Walk alone.
যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে
So this is good because it's education, and it's also raising awareness to all the individuals, and we hope they're all going to be inspired by this. So let's talk about the second issue now. So lately, as you see here also, actually, yesterday we went to somewhere along the Hemis Monastery, right? And then we passed by the Sindhu River and all that. I did not expect that we would see lots of greens. Yeah, I said, "Oh, this is good. This is lots of greens." But then we were talking to, I think, one of your disciples.
Dolma.
Oh,
Principal Dolma.
It was with Dolma.
She was in Kargil. I think she was mentioning Kargil.
Yeah, she was mentioning her place in Kargil. It's good. It's green, but that means maybe the ice is melting. The glaciers in Himalaya is melting, and that faster. And then that can also cause floods. So what do you think about this, the situation, especially maybe not only happening in Leh, actually it's around the world with the climate change and all?
Yeah, this is another very serious crisis the world is facing. It is another serious crisis the whole world is facing. Again, we cannot be spectators. We have to do what we can. I don't know whether we also don't know very clearly. It is because of the cycle of this world that must happen like this, must go through, or it is because of human interference. Now, most people believe this is happening because of human interference in nature, human greed. Yeah, out of greed, they are setting up all kinds of technological industries. Trees are being cut, waters are being polluted, air is being polluted. As a result, this temperature is increasing. So far, our experts have made study, it looks like that. But sometimes some people say that it's a cycle also. This has to happen. That according to Buddhist teachings also, everything must change. Change.
So there's a cycle?
Yes. But however, we human beings are responsible. We must do what we can. We have to do research, and whether it is for climate change or for anything, greed is certainly a source of destruction. Greed can never be a source of happiness, joy, and peace. The result of greed is always negative, always destruction, always suffering. So this is human beings out of greed are destroying the environment. And then these people, business people, are not using this word greed. In place of greed, they use the development. When you hear the word,
it sounds more educated.
Yeah. When you talk about development, everybody agree. They said yes. But if you look carefully, deeply, you will find, yes, this is a development, but it's development of greed. This is how it's going. And because of this human greed, the world is facing so much problem. And this world, millions of people are dying starvations. They have no enough school, hospital, house. But the world have enough. As Gandhiji said, the world have enough for the needy. The world have never enough for greedy. So out of greedy, some people accumulate all the wealth, or they destroy, throw away. If the wealth is distributed, if people become more generous rather than greed, this world would be in difference. So now solution is that again we have to do what we can, and Ladakh is also part of this victim. We don't get rain here at all. Our people are totally depend on the water coming from the glacier, and more than 50% of the glaciers in Himalaya, including Ladakh, have gone, and it's melting fast. So to address this crisis, I have set up a foundation called Save the Himalaya Foundation. So the main objective of the foundation is to invite the expert and concerned people, do brainstorming and what can be done, and then educate the young people about that, this. And then, of course, others like solar, popularizing solar energy, promoting eco-friendly tourism, the objective of this foundation.
So how about you, Swamiji?
I think what Bhante has been doing this is beautiful. You can see that there are projects, solar energy here and there, and he's already practicing what should be done. Now coming back to the issue of this global warming and climate change, like what Bhante has said, from the Aryan tradition, I'm not talking about Aryan as race, but Aryan as a generic term, as Buddha used the word Aryan for gentle people, those noble people with good character. So from that generic view, from the Aryan tradition, whether you call it Hindu or Buddhist, this is Aryan tradition. We know kalpas, the Buddhist traditional speak of kalpas. So, this is going around, cyclic. Some traditions believe that world was created at one point and it will be destroyed at another point, so the creation is linear. But the Aryan tradition, Hindu, Buddhist and Jain, we believe that this is cyclic. It's going, it's kalpas, it's going. But the thing is, if we see now we have got records, we can now find out through so many carbon dating and other methods that last time it would take hundreds of thousands of years to reach that point where climate change happens and destroys everything. It would take many hundreds, thousands of years. Now, this time, it has taken less than 50,000 years. From the last time, the Krakatau eruption and all that, that was in Java. And that now we can know that the impact was such that the entire Indonesian archipelago now, it was not archipelago, it was all part of the Jambu Dvipa, like in Jain and Buddhist tradition, one land. It fragmented into thousands of islands. And for 7 years or 10 years or how many years? 10 years was all darkness. Sun could not be seen. So much dirt was everywhere on the sky. And the dust from Sumatra, from Indonesia, are found in Gujarat. So in the bottom level. And that's why the whole area of Indonesia was called tamas, darkness, So this took many years to reach that point. Now we are reaching that point much faster.
So it's accelerating.
Accelerating. And the biggest point, the biggest tragedy is maybe last time we didn't have the technology. Maybe. I don't know. But maybe. Now we have the technology to actually stop this or make this much longer, not much shorter. We can go for solar energy. We can go for wind energy. It just takes a political will from the governments to find the right kind of technology, to subsidize it, so we don't really, depend on the oil or anything else, coal energy. Until now, there are so many countries depending on coal energy, which is we know is not good for environment. And so this has to be a joint effort. I think places like this, and also in our own ashram, although we are very small, but Devachan is a huge campus. And I think Bhante is already doing on that level, on that area, can turn the whole campus on solar and wind energy. And wind, also a lot of wind. And look at Holland, Netherlands, Germany. It's the whole farming is now on the wind energy, the old system. So I think it just needs subsidy from the governments, and if they do it, if they just forget their own agendas, because
and willingness, maybe.
willingness. When you import a technology like nuclear, we don't need nuclear. In this place we don't need nuclear energy. We need wind and solar energy, free sun the whole year around. So I think the willingness, and I think on the private sector, if 5 or 10 monasteries like this, we can get together, the price will go down. And this is what we have to do in Bali also. Here, I think Bhante has already been doing. So we can actually contribute on individual level, contribute positively to make sure that things do not go worse. And of course, we have to keep on reminding people, keep on reminding governments, once again, don't ever give up. Whatever be the cost, we always do our best.
It's interesting. I remember in 2008 when we attended the UN climate change.
Was it 7? I think 2007. 7 years.
It was also the same conclusion with Venerable Bhante about greed.
Greed, yes.
So all of this about not having the true intention of saving for the greater, what do you call it, greater goods? I don't know how to say that. It's actually because of greed itself.
And we presented that to the General Assembly, to all the state, the head of the states, but business as usual.
So let us go to the third and last topic, actually. It's about drugs. So many addictions, many people are dying because of addictions and business through drugs and all that. Maybe would you start first, maybe Swamiji, about this drugs?
Yes, I think I was in an environment where I was living with 2,000 drug addicts. I was in such an environment, and I would talk to them. I would try to understand them. First of all, they are victims. Out of 2,000, there are many people who are charged as drug dealers, who are charged as drug bosses. But frankly speaking, the drug bosses are never caught.
Yeah.
Those who are caught in the jail are drug dealers. And how they become drug dealers? Because they are addicts. Then at one point they don't have money to buy drugs. So they become drug dealers. And if they want to become drug dealer, then what they do? They try to influence people to buy drugs. And first of all, very unfortunately, they try to influence their own brothers and sisters to become drug addicts. So sometimes the whole families are drug addicts. And what I see is, this is another point that is very serious. I have met with so many people, alcoholic. They don't become drug addict.
Why is that?
I don't know. There has to be some study. But all the drug addicts start with smoking. All of them started with smoking and they become drug addicts. Not all smokers are drug addicts, but all drug addicts started with smoking. And at one point, smoking is no more interesting to them. And then they turn to drug because that is more uplifting. But the problem is like this. From my experience, Bhante, it was in the jail. And we started giving meditation. Okay, we were given batches, 40, 50, 60. Yeah? And we all were surprised. The jail administration was surprised. The success rate was 60%. Just once a week meditation, only once a week. And 6 days of the week, they don't do anything. They cannot do it. Sometimes there are 200 people in one hall. So the effect of meditation is wonderful, but somehow, many reasons, we could not continue it. We did, I think, 5 or 6, 7 batches. We could not continue it, and we were just discussing that we should continue it, we should pursue it. But the effect of meditation is very good, fantastic.
And usually there are many youngsters, youth, that are the victims of drug addicts, and many deaths because of that also. So what is your view on that also about drugs, Bhante?
Yes, again, the youth or anybody who get addicted do out of ignorance. They don't know what's the consequences going to be. And some, of course, when they're frustrated, have some problem in life, just to forget, just to, to make free themselves for time being, they take strong wine or drugs. And another is these people who make business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Business, Yes. So now we have to, government and NGOs really have to come together to survey, and those who are the drug, doing business in drugs or drugs dealer has to be closed.
Yes.
has to be closed. Those unless we reach to the source, it will be difficult. If we, through of course meditation, spiritual program, spiritual education, can help them greatly. But then another, after helping a group of young people, another group of young people will come. This source has to be stopped, and then along with that, this meditation, yoga, spirituality must go. In society, promotion of drugs, business, dealing is much more than yoga, meditation, spirituality. There are not enough spiritual programs to meet these challenges. As these business people or misguided people have all kinds of program, we should have more and more program, teaching, meditation, and they do understand. There are several cases here also. We were running a de-addiction program in the hospital. A lot of people came with meditation, teaching, counseling. They have overcome. Locally, some. Not so many, but some. Yes. For this, government and NGO must have come together.
Right, because these drug lords are mostly, they are mostly very, very powerful people. Almost untouchable. But we have to keep on trying. And
this is the problem, like even other issues, the powerful political leaders and the economists. Somehow we are not able to, they are the source. They are the source.
True.
Somehow we have not been able to reach them. Unless we mobilize huge mass of people like Gandhi did. That I don't know.
To raise that consciousness in masses is not easy, but it's not. We shouldn't give up.
Here,
on that.
as you have seen our campus, this campus is really becoming a role model. Role models, of course, drugs and all this are no question. Even environmentally, they are educated. They are small children are so much conscious. Our students got several awards for their environmental issues working in the school, and even for peaceful coexistence. Compared to the students of other school, our students are far more positive. They have positive attitude towards others because we teach them, we tell them, look, we have to live together. We are all friendly.
We saw the school. It's wonderful, and the assembly is beautiful.
I don't know whether you have read the motto of school motto. Say to help the children to grow physically strong, mentally brilliant, culturally rich. And spiritually enlightening, and materially prosperous, and environmentally friendly, and globally peaceful.
Very holistic. It's all in one.
Wholesale.
They read this almost every day.
That's good. That's good. So, may I conclude that actually, with the first burning issues, it was all about power, right? And misguided.
So education is.
And it's the solution is through peace education, and that is for the long run. And then
Don't give up.
Don't give up. And also, we should also create more awareness, like these videos, and maybe call up on bringing up awareness in the civic society, civilians, society, and not only relying on just government-based like that. And so the second one about climate change, it's all about greed, right? And drugs also, the cause is also about greed. And of course, the people who are experiencing, who are addicted are, maybe we can call it like a lacking of emotional support. Maybe that's why they need something to make them feel good. So don't you think that the solution is about we all need meditation?
Yes. This most of the problems are created by human beings. Any problem created by human beings can be solved by human beings. Therefore, many people, when we talk to the common people, usually the people keep on blaming others, political leaders, other leaders. Okay, that also you can do it. But then each person, every simple person have so much potential to contribute to the world.
True.
And one has to one cannot be spectators just blaming others they are doing. Each one has to do he or she can.
True.
And then if the person start doing, every person has the potential to become a Buddha.
True.
What Gandhi has achieved can be achieved by all human beings.
True.
The seed is there.
Yeah.
The problem is that most of the people keep on, they live like a spectator, looking that, that is not good. Each person must do, and even if one person is transformed, this is the beginning of the transformation of the world. Because no matter how small in number, but it's part of the world.
I agree.
Yeah. So transformation of world starts with one person.
Yeah.
Therefore, meditation, yoga, teachings, and motivating, inspiring people to do what, join them, join and do, must continue this.
And closing remark from you, Swami.
Yeah, I mean, Bhante has said it all, and he always says compassion in action. We say meditation 24/7, same thing, just different language, basically. And coming back to drugs a little bit, what you said was true. Lack of emotional support, yeah. A lot of people who become drug addicts are because of broken families and all that. And actually, from the Eastern tradition, we didn't have all these problems. We didn't have all these kind of problems, and these problems somehow cropped in. And yes, because these problems are human-made, so we can solve them, and it is our responsibility. Like Bhante always talks about global family. We talk about one earth, same thing. Anything happening to any individual in any part of the world or any living being will affect us. It was Einstein or somebody said, if the bees were gone, the humanity could suffer tremendously because the predators, very much, just the bees gone, you kill all the bees, the humanity will at the end of it suffer. So anything happening to anybody will ultimately make us suffer. Even if we think on that from that selfish angle, that anything happening to anybody will affect me, even then it is my responsibility to save myself. I should try to behave properly. And if we think the whole universe is one family, then all our problems are solved.
True. So basically, we always have to start with ourselves. Don't depend on others, but start with ourselves. So I guess we conclude the dialogue for today. And, well, not only for today, but I hope we'll meet again.
Of course we meet again. Of course we meet again.
So we'll close this greetings with Jule, since we're in this beautiful lake. Jule.